Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Kennedy, for being here. Being a few months older than me, I'm going to be respectful to your elders.
Not by much.
Yeah, not by much, that's right. But thank you. Look at this room. We hadn't had a full room in here since I've been in here 4 years on any hearing. Thank you for bringing the light to what this is all about. It's about health in our country. There might have been a half a dozen people in the last Health and Human Services nominee. Nobody was interested. Lawyer who worked from home in California, didn't do a damn thing in terms of what we needed when COVID was full steam. So thank you. Thank you for getting our young people involved. My two boys, 28 and 30, a year or so ago, they were going to vote for you for President of the United States. You know why? Because you're trying to save their group of people from the chemicals and the things that we have in our food. They're fired up about it. And you brought light to that. And thank God you've done that. You brought importance to what we're doing. You know, I coached for 40 years. In the last 4 or 5 years I coached, I'd never seen like the run on drugs our young people are being given by doctors across this country. We have a attention deficit problem in this country. You know, attention deficit, when you and I were growing up, our parents didn't use a drug, they used a belt and whipped our butt, you know, and told us to sit down. Nowadays, we give them Adderall and Ritalin, like candy across college campuses and high school campuses. Mr. Kennedy, what are we going to do about that?
Today, 15% of American kids are on Adderall. And there's clearly a major problem with overprescription, not just with our children, but with our entire population. We have 4.2% of the world's population, and we take 50% of the pharmaceutical drugs. And there's a recent study by Peter Ghosh, who is one of the founders of the Cochrane collaboration, that showed that prescription drugs are now the third largest cause of death in our country after cardiac arrest and cancer. We're not getting healthier. Americans are getting less and less healthy. 70% of pharmaceutical profits globally come from our country, which has 4.2% of the world's population. We're the only country that allows full-scale pharmaceutical ads on TV. And we're all being told you can make yourself, you can eat anything you want, you can smoke anything you want, you can do anything you want, and there'll be a drug to fix you in the end. And it is not a good formula. And our kids are getting sicker and sicker. They're not getting better. Nobody here, all the people here who are defending this current system and defending these pharmaceutical industry profits, many of whom are taking huge amounts of money from the pharmaceutical industry, millions of dollars for many of these senators. And none of that, this is not making our country healthier. It's making us sicker. We need to get rid of these conflicts. We need good science, and we need good leadership that is able to stand up to these big industries and not bend over for them.
Thank you. And you brought to light the vaccines over the last couple of years. I've had my first granddaughter here in a couple of weeks, and my son and his wife have done their research about vaccines, and she's not going to be a pincushion. We're not going to allow that to happen. But you brought that up, but as you and I talked about vaccines, Coach, let's empower scientists to do their job. You know, let's go by what they do. Let's don't just do something for the pharmaceutical company. So I appreciate you doing that. One other thing is you and I talked about red dye number 3, and just happened, you and I talked about that, and a few days later in this room we had the FDA director. And I asked him, why do we use red dye 3 in our cosmetics? Or we don't use in cosmetics, we use in our food, but we don't use it in cosmetics because it causes cancer. What in the heck's going on? Well, a few weeks later, because of your insistence, we dropped it. So tell me about dyes and things that you're concerned about, because I get more talk about that than anything.
We have 10,000 ingredients in our food in this country because FDA employs a standard called the GRAS standard that looks at any new chemical as innocent until proven guilty. In Europe, they have 400 ingredients in their foods. Kellogg's makes Fruit Loops for the United States alone. It is loaded with red dye, blue dye, yellow dye, and many, many other ingredients. They make the same product for Canada that's all vegetable dyes, and for Europe. If you eat a McDonald's French fry in this country, it has 11 ingredients. You eat the same product in Europe, it has 3. We are allowing these companies, because their influence over this body, over our regulatory agencies, to mass poison American children. And that's wrong. It needs to end. And I believe I'm the one person who's able to end it.
Thank you.